If you are planning to move to Canada, study in Canada, or work in Canada, everything you thought you knew about the immigration system just changed. As of June 2025, the Canadian government released a brand new departmental plan that sets completely new targets, introduces historic caps on temporary residence for the first time ever, and reshapes every single major pathway into this country. Whether you are an international student, a skilled worker, a refugee, or someone waiting on permanent residency, this plan affects you directly. And if you do not understand what is in it, you could miss your window entirely. Welcome to Canada Pathway Immigration. Subscribe right now and hit that bell, because this is exactly the kind of update that changes people's futures. On June 20th, 2025, Immigration, Refugees, and Citizenship Canada, IRCC, published its 2025 to 2026 departmental plan. This is the official roadmap that guides every immigration decision the Canadian government makes over the next 2 years. It covers temporary residence, permanent residency, express entry, refugees, citizenship, passports, and more. And unlike previous years, this plan comes with a very clear message from the government. Canada is recalibrating. The era of unlimited growth in immigration numbers is over. What replaces it is a system built around sustainability, integration capacity, and long-term economic stability. So let us break this down piece by piece because there is a lot here and none of it should be missed. Canada's population currently sits at approximately 41.5 million people. Over the past several years, the rapid growth of temporary residents, international students, temporary foreign workers, visitors on extended stays, placed enormous pressure on housing, healthcare, and social services, particularly in major cities like Toronto, Vancouver, and Montreal. The 2025 to 2026 plan responds directly to those pressures. The headline number that everyone in the immigration community needs to know is this: Canada is targeting a reduction of its temporary resident population to just 5% of the total national population by 2026. That number was significantly higher in recent years, and bringing it down requires strict control over new arrivals. That is exactly what this plan delivers. For the first time in Canadian immigration history, the government is introducing arrival caps on temporary residents. The targets are as follows. In 2025, Canada will accept 650 new temporary resident arrivals. In 2026, that number drops sharply to 516,600. And in 2027, it rises slightly to 543,600. These numbers specifically cover international students and temporary foreign workers. Short-term visitors, those traveling on temporary resident visas, electronic travel authorizations, or as seasonal workers, are not counted in these figures and are tracked separately through Statistics Canada's population estimates. Within the temporary resident category, the breakdown is very specific. International students will be capped at 350,900 annually across 2025, 2026, and 2027. This controlled intake is designed to balance educational opportunity with the reality that housing and services in Canadian cities cannot absorb unlimited numbers of new arrivals every year. For study permit applications, new financial requirements are also being introduced. Students who applied in 2024 were required to show $2,635 in available funds, which represents 75% of the low-income cutoff, plus tuition and travel costs. Starting in 2025, that financial threshold increases annually to reflect updated cost of living figures. This means that if you are applying for a study permit, you need to plan for higher proof of funds requirements every single year going forward. For international students who already completed their studies, the post-graduation work permit program has been updated. IRCC revised the list of eligible fields to align with actual labor market needs, now prioritizing healthcare, construction, and STEM disciplines. If your field of study falls outside these priority areas, your eligibility for a post-graduation work permit may be different than it was before. Check the updated IRCC list before you assume anything. The Temporary Foreign Worker Program will accept 82,000 workers annually from 2025 through 2027, with priority given to applications in agriculture, food processing, healthcare, and technology. The International Mobility Program, which covers high-skill talent outside the standard work permit streams, will bring in 285,750 workers in 2025, dropping to 128,700 in 2026, and rising again to 150,700 in 2027. Canada is also developing a brand new sector-specific work permit specifically for agriculture and fish processing, built alongside expanded agreements with partner countries including Mexico and Guatemala. And separately, Canada is negotiating new labor mobility pathways with ASEAN nations and CPTPP candidates, including Indonesia and Ecuador, which will open additional doors for skilled workers from those regions. On the visitor and travel side, Canada has expanded its electronic travel authorization program significantly. Since February 2024, travelers from 67 countries can apply for an ETA instead of a traditional visa, with most approvals processed within minutes. This simplification is designed to boost tourism and business travel from low-risk countries. At the same time, IRCC has enhanced its visa integrity measures with improved officer training and risk assessment and fraud detection, resulting in a 61% increase in visa refusals for high-risk applicants. This reflects the government's commitment to keeping the system open for genuine visitors while closing gaps that were being exploited. Now let us move to permanent residency, because this is where the numbers tell a very important story. The 2025 to 2027 Immigration Levels Plan reduces permanent resident admissions significantly compared to recent years. In 2025, Canada will admit 395,000 permanent residents. In 2026, that falls to 380,000, and in 2027, it drops further to 365,000. These reductions are intentional and directly tied to the pressure on housing and infrastructure. By 2027, the allocation across categories will be approximately 62% for economic immigrants, 22% for family reunification, 15% for resettled refugees and protected persons, and between 1 and 2% for humanitarian and compassionate admissions. One of the most important details in this plan is that over 40% of all 2025 permanent resident admissions will come from people who are already inside Canada, former international students and temporary workers who are transitioning to permanent residency. If you are currently in Canada on a temporary status, this is a significant signal that the government wants to prioritize you. Express entry remains the primary pathway for skilled workers, but with an important shift. The system now uses category-based selection to target specific types of candidates. Priority is being given to applicants with strong French language skills, work experience in healthcare, social services, trades, or education, and candidates from the Canadian Experience class who are already working in skilled occupations in Canada with strong employment outcomes and above-average earnings. If you fall into these categories, your chances of receiving an invitation to apply have increased. If you do not, the competition has become more selective. For entrepreneurs and business immigrants, the Startup Visa Program and Self-Employed Program are receiving enhanced processing in 2025 with reduced intake and prioritized timelines to improve client satisfaction. The Provincial Nominee Program is also being updated, with a new temporary public policy that extends work permits by up to 2 years for PNP candidates waiting for their permanent residency applications to process, a significant relief measure for those stuck in lengthy processing queues. On family reunification, IRCC is simplifying its online content, improving processing times for overseas spousal and child applications, and improving communication with applicants about wait times. For refugees, Canada will resettle 12,000 refugees annually from Africa, the Middle East, and the Asia-Pacific region, and an additional 4,000 from the Americas by 2028. The private sponsorship of refugees program has paused certain streams until December 2025 to manage existing backlogs. So if you were planning to use that pathway, be aware of that timeline. On citizenship, IRCC is targeting a rate of 85% of permanent residents becoming citizens. New initiatives include expanded e-applications for minors and families, online knowledge tests, language waivers for eligible applicants, and the incorporation of Indigenous knowledge keepers in citizenship ceremonies. On the passport side, online renewals for adult passports launched in 2024 will be expanded in 2025, and a new automated processing system is being introduced to reduce wait times and improve global access for Canadians living abroad. The broader message of Canada's 2025 to 2026 immigration plan is this: Canada has not closed its doors, but it has changed the rules of entry. The days of unlimited growth in temporary resident numbers are over. In their place is a more carefully managed system that prioritizes integration, economic contribution, and the capacity of Canadian communities to absorb and support newcomers. If you understand this plan, you can position yourself ahead of the changes. If you do not, you risk making decisions based on a system that no longer exists. Thank you for watching Canada Pathway Immigration. If this video gave you clarity on something that matters to your future, hit the like button right now and share it with someone who is planning to come to Canada, because they need this information before they make any decisions. And if you are not yet subscribed, subscribe right now and turn on the notification bell, because IRCC policy can change quickly, and we will be here the moment anything new drops. Leave your questions in the comments below. We read every single one. See you in the next video.